probably the most helpful tip within this whole video. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about what CPD is, where to find good CPD, and how you can make sure that you're doing CPD every week. So let's get into it. CPD means continuing professional development, and CPD is how we make sure that we're up to date with current psychological knowledge and making sure that we're competent to practice. You're meant to do CPD at all levels of your journey, whether you're a fully qualified psychologist or whether you're an assistant psychologist. You need to be doing your CPD every single week. On the NHS website it says that clinical psychologists need to do at least 40 hours of CPD per year. Now this wasn't on the BPS website and I couldn't actually find it on the BPS website, so I don't know where the NHS got this from, but I guess the majority of clinical psychologists work for the NHS, so I'm just going to go off of that number. But also at work I've been told that I need to do at least 1 hour of CPD per week. Now to break CPD down a little bit, the BPS have given us 6 different areas in which we need to focus on when looking for CPD. So the 6 key roles of CPD. Number 1 is to develop professional and personal standards and your ethical practice. Number 2 is to apply psychological theory in your practice. Number 3 is to research and develop new and existing psychological methods. Number 4 is to communicate psychological knowledge and policy requirements. Number 5 is to develop and train the application of psychological skills. And number 6 is to manage the provision of psychological services and resources. So those are the 6 key roles that the BPS highlight, which honestly before this video I had no idea about, but it is quite helpful in breaking down what CPD should look like on smaller levels, and so to keep that in mind when you are looking for CPD. So now we know what CPD is, where do we find it? Now CPD can take the form of a book, a webinar, a podcast. The way that I normally find CPD is either through YouTube videos. I just YouTube search either like stroke webinar, dementia webinar, and usually stuff will come up and that can be really helpful. But also within my work they put on webinars pretty much every week and I try to attend as many as I can. Another way to get your CPD in is through books, of course. You can find good books either via word of mouth, or you can take a look at the reviews posted on the Psychologist website. So the Psychologist is the magazine from the BPS and they always have book reviews in their monthly magazine. Is it monthly? I think it's monthly. If you go onto their website they actually have a review section, and so even if you don't have membership you can still access these reviews, and so I think that's really helpful. But for the most part I get my book recommendations either from YouTube videos or from the Psychology Instagram community, which is fantastic. Like if you post like asking for a book recommendation everyone will come flooding, and I definitely have had a few good recommendations from there. But again you need to be able to draw that line between what you're reading for your interest and what is CPD. There are also loads of events either hosted by the BPS or the ACP. Now I think you have to be members for most of their events, even their free ones I think you have to have a membership, but double check on their website, just check, because there might be some free ones that you can attend without being a member. Another way to find really good CPD events is through Eventbrite. If you go onto Eventbrite and type in like clinical psychology or maybe dementia or stroke, then loads of things will come up and you just need to sift through to find out which events will be good pieces of CPD for you, and a lot of them on there are free, which is amazing. But when you are finding events on Eventbrite, make sure that the people speaking are credible and that the information that they're putting out is correct. When you're at work it can be really busy and I find that it's hard to structure in that time for CPD. So I feel like CPD sometimes ends up at the bottom of our list when we're at work, and that can be because we're more interested in clinical work or we're just genuinely really busy. But here are some things that have helped me stay on top of CPD. So the first thing is that I try to find webinars, books or events that I'm genuinely interested in, and also CPD events that will be helpful for my clients. And I find that when I sign up to a CPD event or buy a book that is relevant to the people that I'm working with, I am more likely to attend the webinar and I'm more likely to finish the book. And I think the main hurdle of CPD is getting that motivation, but when you're passionate for something the motivation will already be there. The first practical tip that I've got is to block out an hour every week in your diary. Another way to squeeze CPD in is to listen to audiobooks, and I love audiobooks. I'm the queen of multitasking multitasking, so if I can listen to a book and learn while I'm doing my washing up, I will do it. But also when I'm doing admin tasks, which are quite mindless, I can put on an audiobook in the background and be learning while I'm doing it, so I have no excuse to miss out on CPD that week. And finally, and probably the most helpful tip within this whole video, is to make sure that you're reflecting on the CPD that you're attending or the CPD that you're doing, because there's no point in reading a book and then just kind of like reading it and then just get away from me. Like, the whole point of CPD is to learn things and then use them in your practice at work. So it is just really important that you are spending some time either at the end of every chapter or at the end of the webinar that you watch to just sit back, reflect and think, okay, what have I learned and how is it going to change my practice going forward? But honestly, I love that CPD is such an emphasized part of being a psychologist, because I love learning, and so it's really cool to me that I get paid for an hour to like read a book or watch a webinar that I'm really truly interested in. And for some reason, guys, I lost the rest of the footage, so this is the end of the video. Please give it a like if you liked it and subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye!